Now I got to make my little opening short. All right. I counsel with a lot of folks from everywhere. And what I notice is that the devil tells everybody the same thing. And then the situation might be a little different, but everybody responds to the situation in the same way, all over the world. And it doesn't matter your status, how much money you have or don't have, your color. Everybody responds to the situation in the same way. And then I counseled with a couple couples this week. And what I noticed is that because of fear, the men can't even guide their wives. And because of fear, the wife won't obey their husbands. And the men won't be straight up with their wives. I don't mean play man or intellectual stuff that you're learning even from here. But they still have fear of losing their wives. They have fear of their wives getting angry and leaving them. They have fear of something. And because they have that fear, they can't lead their wives in the right way to go. And the wives have a love-hate relationship for them. Because she wants him to be strong in the right way. She needs him or she wants him to lead her. But then if he tries to lead her, she's going to make it difficult for him. And she sees that the more difficult she makes it for him, the more he color up to her. The more he try to please her. And it's just a battle going on. Fear is not from God. Fear, you can overcome fear right now if you walk out the prison. Remember I told you last week the prison doors are open, but because of your fear, you won't walk out? Your fear tell you, oh no, if I walk out, the guard's going to shoot me. It's a setup. Or you listen to the other person in prison, they tell you, well, don't do it that way because this is going to happen if you walk out of your prison. Or you may make it to the boat, but you're not going to be able to cross over to the land, dry land, because they're going to shoot you along the way or some alligator is going to get you. Fear. Fear tell you if you speak up for yourself, you're going to lose all your friends. Or if your husband or wife leave you, you're going to be alone. Or if your children are taken away from you, you're going to be lonely. Your kids are going to suffer. It's all fear. God did not give you a spirit of fear. And the person that's feeling the fear is not even you, because there is no you. There's literally no you at all. And what you should, do what you want. You should start worshiping fear. You should start worshiping thoughts. You are making thoughts your God. And you should only have one God. But you make these false gods out of thoughts. I'm an idiot. They're going to make me look like an idiot. She was wishing false gods. Satan was lying to her. There is no her to embarrass, to feel anything, or to worry about anything, or to want for anything. It's a lie. And God is not judging you. You can overcome fear right now if you're willing to just let fear happen and do what you got to do with yourself. If you go to work, if you face those people, just face them and see that fear has no authority. It will leave you. Fear is an illusion. And so every time you have fear, you're worshiping fear. You have made fear your God. You've made fear your God. And the problem with human beings today, and always, but today, is that they are their own God. You're your own God. That's why God can't help you. You think you can help yourself. You think you know who you are. You think you know what you want. You think you know what you need. You think you know what to pray for. You think you know everything, and so God cannot help you. You are your own God because you know the knowledge of good and evil, and you're basing your life on good and evil knowledge, and it has nothing to do with God at all. The one thing I want you to know, and without a doubt, it brings tears, you are free. All of your sins have been forgiven. You're not a sinner. Your sins have been forgiven. You're not guilty of it. You could have done the worst thing that you could ever imagine in your life, past life, history, past history. You could have done some of the worst things you could ever imagine that a human being can do, and God doesn't hold that against you at all. You're not guilty of that. I don't care what it was. I don't care what, you can name it or whatever you've done. God is not holding it against you because it wasn't you that committed the act. You think it was you because you think that you're your thoughts and your feelings. And then when you do those things, Satan and Satan's children, the outer world, tell you, oh, you're guilty, you did that. You're this, you did that because you did this. And then you judge yourself. Who are you judging when there's no one there to judge? You're playing God again. I commit this act, now I'm going to judge myself. I'm playing God. God doesn't care what you have done because he knows it wasn't you. Whatever you did 100 years ago, it happened then, and even then, it wasn't you. It was this. Something made a home in you, and it made you do what you do. It's impossible for you to do wrong because all your sins have been wiped away. It's just that you don't realize you're not your thoughts and your feelings. You have identified with that, and you're playing God. Even when you cry, you're lying because you literally think you're crying. Why are you crying? Oh, I'm crying, I lost my puppy. Who's crying? Me. Who is the me that's crying? And you can't even say. And then you have a conversation with yourself. You go out and do what you think is wrong, and then you tell yourself, oh, I just did a wrong. I'm guilty. I feel so bad. Who are you talking to? Who's telling this person that you did wrong? There's no you, folks. It's all an illusion. It's all ego. You hear the ego people say, oh, it's all ego. They don't even know what the ego is. It's not you. You got to stop identifying with the false self. And God, I don't care what any Christian tell you. I don't care what anything. The only thing you need to overcome is the hatred of your heart. Because the anger keeps you away from God. It's the nature of Satan, of evil. And God tried to draw you unto him, and he's not going to draw Satan's children unto him. But he will when you admit you're evil. No such thing as a good person. But what will happen, and I promise you, once your heart changes from love and you start to see, then your nature will change. You will have a good nature. Right now you have an evil nature. That's why you do evil things. You play these games. You play games on people. You pretend you love them. You pretend you're their friends, and you pretend you're a wife, and you pretend you're a husband. And the first thing you do is go out and try to hurt that person because your nature needs to change. You still have a bad Satan nature. Once the heart changes, and if you watch that nature and not call it you, he'll take it away from you and give you his nature. And then you'll be good and have a good nature. Right now you're evil and you have an evil nature. You can't get around it until you see you're wrong. You're evil. Your nature is evil. And that's what you're living by, your nature. God is not holding anything against you, I promise you. He had wiped it up. Christ came and gave his life for this, to make you free. And you want to accept freedom. You love your prison. You want you to walk out of prison. I said, drop your anger. There's never, ever, 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 but never, ever a time to be angry.
Do this.
What's this?
No, I think it was a spider web.
Even the spiders love me. God made the animals so that they can love us. Thank you, Dad. Do y'all understand this? It doesn't make any sense. Who don't quite see it? Stop calling this ego nature you. Stop calling your thought you. And stop trying to hurt other people. They had the same problem. They serve the same devil that you do. Don't try to hurt them. You ain't no better than them. That's why you try to hurt them. Whatever your issues are, keep it to yourself. Don't worry about it till Aunt Johnny, Uncle Martha, the whole neighborhood, everybody in the family. What are you looking for? They're not going to save you from yourself. And then they're going to pretend they agree with you because they want more of your gossip. And they're going to run and tell it. They don't love you. Human beings don't have love. Stop it this year. I ain't playing with you. And you coming back, you're going to love me. Because you're going to be grateful that finally I can see I am not my thoughts. I am not my feelings. There is no me to hurt. If you're hurting, that's the ego hurting, not you. It's the ego. It's not you. Your emotions, the up and down emotions. Your fears are not real. Drop your fears right now and never have them again. And whatever the attacks come upon the ego, not the physical body, but the ego. The psychological mind needs to be renewed. And yes, right here with the mic. And never, ever, 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 I want you to never trust another person that will gossip about another person. Because they will do it to you too. They have no love. They have no understanding. They cannot see. They're not going to tell you, you know what, I'm in this situation because I was evil and I could not see. They're going to tell you it's everybody else's problem but theirs. You are your problem. Nobody else is. You are your problem. You believe in thoughts and you're holding on to fear and you let fear dictate your whole life. It tell you when to come, when to go, when to speak, when not to speak, when to smile, when to nod your head. It makes you nod your head at folks you don't want to. I remember one time I was counseling with someone, and I had just started, and it was a parent and a child counseling thing, and the mother was doing this. You know I love him, right? You know I love him. I'm like, stop shaking your head. You up there lying? And the poor child didn't know what to do. And have you ever noticed you be shaking your head with someone you don't even agree with, but you want them to think you agree with them because you want to appear nice, so you go. They be like, oh yeah, I went down the well and my husband beat me up and I thought, and you're like, yeah. And you don't even agree with them. But you don't want them to know that you don't agree. You want to appear nice, so you bow your head. I see that a lot in the entertainment world. A lot of reporters, when they're interviewing people, they're going this. I catch myself doing that now, and I stop. You got to catch yourself. You got to catch evil, the thought. Yes, ma'am.
So these last few nights, I've been trying to stay present.
Yes.
I'm not going to say I'm like 100% present, but I've been trying to stay present. And literally the last few nights, I've been waking up between like 2, 3, 4 in the morning, but with this fear. It's like this insane fear. And I was taught to get up and do my hooping and hollering and be a good little Christian kid and pray and rebuke whatever that fear. I was so scared. I did it. I'm not going to lie, I did do it, but I was even more scared.
You got up and did the hooping and hollering?
I did.
What the?
I know,
No
but
wonder
that
you were
freaked me
scared.
out. Exactly. It freaked me out
I bet
even
the
more.
demons just came from everywhere.
I
But-
was even more scared doing that. And then finally I was like, why am I doing this to myself? It must have lasted like 5 minutes because I couldn't do it that long. I was scared about my hooping and hollering and rebuking whatever that was.
The next time that happens, and it will happen again, feel it.
So
Lay in the bed or wherever you are and
Right.
take it and feel it and let it happen and know you're shaking. Know that you're scared. Know you feel ashamed. Know you feel this. But don't call it you. God is trying to save you from that. He's trying to change your nature from fear to his nature, which is love.
So I did that.
Oh.
I turned on the silent prayer and I had to sit there and I was so scared and I felt myself shaking.
Yeah.
But I had the best sleep after that. It was like,
Absolutely.
I literally let the fear go, I don't even know what I was thinking. I didn't know.
Right on.
It was just a feeling that had
It was
overcome.
all demons operating in you to try to make you think that it was you so that they can stay alive. They need a reaction from you to stay alive.
Yeah, because I sat on the edge of my bed and I did the silent prayer. And like the first 3 minutes, I could feel myself like shaking in my boots. And then eventually I was like, wait, what? It was almost ridiculous for me to have done everything I did.
Absolutely. But just notice that, and when they come again, you're going to deal with them a little better. You won't overreact.
Okay.
It'll get easier and easier, right?
Yeah.
And then they'll be gone completely.
Yeah.
But you got to let that happen. You got to let the shaking happen. You got to let one of your kids happen in your mind, but don't call it you, and do nothing about it. And the Father will save you from it. He'll take care of you. You got to let this ego thing happen. You can't, if you want to be free, you can't protect it. You are not your ego. You are not your thoughts. You're not your pains. You're not your fears. You're not your worries. You're not your loneliness. You're not your sadness. You're not, oh, I want to be married, or I want children, I want this. It's normal to want to get married, ladies, but and don't put it first. Let it happen naturally, all right? There's nothing wrong with a woman wanting to get married, have children. That's what you're made for. But not to make it your God. But you gotta die from your own God self. You have a God mind. You think you're God. You think you know what you want. You think somebody needs to treat me a certain way. Nobody needs to treat you anyway. You in your own world. You be fine in your own world. I almost cuss. The H. We can say hell because everybody go to hell, right? The hell with the way somebody treat you. What do you care about how somebody treat you? Who are they treating that way? If you know who you really are or who you're not, they can't hurt you. Now they're going to try because they want to bring people to their hell too. The devil roam the earth through other people, try to draw you in. But if you control your own life, how can they draw you in? Okay, you don't like me, fine. Okay, you try to mess up my reputation, you can have it. Thank God, I ain't got to worry about having no more reputation. Let them have your reputation. You never have to think about having one again. It's a job trying to have a reputation. Think about how many booths you have to lit. Because you're trying to have a reputation. A reputation is just a stupid idea. It's a worldly made-up thing that makes you worry about and try to protect. I'm protecting my reputation. And then you hold a press conference, and the people still don't believe you. They're still lying about you. Nothing changing. To hell with the world and live in your world. You are responsible for your world. Work on overcoming thought. It's just thoughts. It's just thoughts. It's just thoughts, and the thought bring on the emotions. Stop identifying with the thoughts. And you can be perfect. You already are perfect. You are made in God's image. You just forgotten it. You believe the devil. But you're already perfect. And don't let nobody say, oh, you can't be perfect because you live in the body. That's dumb. You're not your body. What does that have to do with you? All right? So walk out of the gate of fear today. Let the fear come when it comes, but watch it and just do nothing about it. Don't call it you. Don't run from it. Take it. Like the young lady was saying, the fear overtook her. That was the devil and his little demon, because they want her to think that it was her or is her, right? And they want to make a home in her. It's the ego. It's the nature of the devil. Any questions about that? Yes. Real fast.
I don't think it's a question. I think I misunderstood your question in the beginning of having fear, because I do have some fears, but then I just sit in it and then push through and nothing.
You got to
comes of
ride
it.
with the fear.
Yeah.
Remember when I said go and forgive mama, and I said if you're afraid, do it anyway? Have you noticed when you go and forgive your mother, the fear of mama disappear?
Yep.
That's what's going to happen here too, when you face the fears of thoughts and all that, it will disappear. You are not your thought. You don't even know who you are at this point. But you will when you go through the valley of the shadow of death, and that's what you were dealing with. And on the other side of that valley is heaven. But you got to go through the valley. You got to let the ego die. It's more than what you even imagine. And last but not least, the devil, the closer you get through this valley, because you're going through different things. You're going through emotion. You're going through worry. You're going through doubt. You're going through loneliness. You're going through wanting to blame other people the way you feel and what you think. You want to blame other people because they don't want to play with you anymore. You're going through all these valleys of the shadow of death, right? Go through them, and then you'll be done with them, and you'll have life. You got to give up a life in order to have a life. You must die from the ego. You're not going to get life because all these things are death. When those thoughts tell you, oh, don't go to that meeting, that's not even you. You have never come up with your own idea at all. You've never had an idea. You've never created one thought, one idea, one plan. Not at all. It's always come from evil. And you call it you. Then you wake up in the morning and the devil says, oh, you go to the gym at 9. And so you get up and you're about to go, and, oh, you don't have to go to the gym today. Or you can go a little later. It sounds like you telling yourself that, right? That's not your voice. That's not your voice at all, but you've identified with it and you think it's your voice, and you're like, yeah, I could go a little later. And you end up not going at all. Don't even listen to that. Shock your body. When you get up and you wake up and the first thing you get these thoughts and say to you, don't go to the gym. Get up and go anyway.
Yep.
Shock your body. Don't give in to the devil. Because once you go to the gym, you will be glad you went. After the workout, you feel so great, right? And you'll be like, wow, I'm glad I got this over. I'm glad I went. Shock the body by not going with the lies. Any question about this?